If you find yourself staying up until 2 a.m. to finish that drawing you forgot to delegate, or you're constantly looking through your phone for that one photo you took on site 2 weeks ago, hear me out. This video is for the designer who is already delegating but finds herself falling behind. If either one of the scenarios resonate with you, I'm going to give you 3 ways that you can slowly take back control of your time, your projects, and your team. This past month, I ran 2 mastermind calls with talented designers. They're growing, they're delegating, but they have the same challenges, and the same one always came back, and it was the feeling of falling behind even if they had help. So I want to share what we discussed on those calls, because if it's coming up for them, it's probably coming up for you as well. The reason number one this is happening is because there's no handoff moment. So information never leaves your head. Every time you go on site, every client meeting or presentation, every phone call you have with the contractor is going to generate something. Decisions that were made, things to do after the meeting, contacts your team needs to move forward. And most of that information always goes to one place, and it's your head. What usually happens is that you go straight from the client home to your car, from the car to the next thing to dinner, and then by Thursday, you're scrambling because you haven't processed what happened at the meeting on Monday, and now it has become urgent. And it's not a discipline problem, it's just that you never had that time to do that transfer of information that needed to happen after that meeting. And the problem with that is that your team can't act when they don't have what they need to move forward. So they wait or they ask, and every question keeps coming back to you because it's information that never left your head. So the solution for this is very simple. I want you, from now on, every time you have a meeting, you have a call that's planned, you're going to add a post-meeting buffer. It can be 30 minutes, it can be 1 hour, depending on how much was discussed on that meeting. And you're going to block it after every meeting. So let's say it's Monday now, you have a site visit planned for Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. What you're going to do is you're going to add a buffer of, enough time for you to get back to the office, and then another buffer of 30 minutes to 1 hour to deal with anything that happened on that meeting. So every meeting is going to have a buffer. If you're on site all day and you know you're not going to deal with it at 8 p.m. at night, maybe you have a family, you want to spend time with your kids, fine, plan it first thing the next day. Before you check your phone, before you check your emails, before you do anything else, you're just going to have that buffer that you need to process the information that was discussed on that site meeting. And in that window, you're going to do a few things. First, you're going to file all the photos on your phone. So if it's a site meeting, you took photos on site, you're going to file them in the right folder so that if you need it a week from now or your team needs it, you know exactly where it is. So it's a folder with the date of the meeting, so it's easy to find. And nothing is going to stay on your phone, because what is on your phone cannot be accessed by your team. And this is an important one. If you have not been recording your calls or your meetings, you have to start now, because we can't be making notes on meetings. We have to be really in the present, in the moment with the person we're talking to. It disrupts, and it's just going to take way longer. If you're recording that meeting or you're recording that call, it's going to make things much simpler, because then you can take that transcript and bring it into ChatGPT or Claude or whatever AI tool you're using, and you can build a summary of the actions, like everything that was discussed, and then the action steps that each person has to handle. So this is going to be time saver, and it's also going to be much simpler for you to share that information with your team, because you don't have to repeat yourself or try to remember what happened on the meeting. You have the transcript, you build the summary, clear steps, really good structure, and then it's automatically shared with your team. And if you haven't got AI to do it, you're going to also write down the 3 to 5 decisions made from that meeting and what needs to happen next As I said, you can get AI to help you with that based on what was discussed. And if you have a project manager, like some of my clients already are at this stage where they can have a project manager, you can hand those tasks to the project manager. So if the project manager goes to site with you, they can handle doing all these things for you. You don't need to be doing them yourself. If they're not going to site with you, you can still send them the transcript and let them deal with it. Same thing for the photos. They can do the filing, or you can do it yourself if it's, a 5-minute thing that you can handle. Otherwise, just delegate it. To finish on recording your calls or your in-person meetings, most platforms, if you're doing an online meeting, will have the option to record the call. I use Fathom. I don't pay for it, but you can also use Google Meet or Zoom. And if you have the paid version, then you're going to be able to record your calls. And if it's an in-person meeting, a client of mine mentioned Plaud, Plaud, which plugs onto your phone and it's going to record and send you the transcript directly. Otherwise, if you have an iPhone, you can just record it with the voice recorder. It has the option to take the transcript as well from that. And if you're at this stage where you're growing, but your structure is not keeping up with your growth, that's exactly the type of work that I do with designers one-on-one. We build strong foundations so that the business is ready for your next level. I'll add the link to the description if you want to read up more about this, but let's get back to the video. Reason number 2 is that you hired task doers instead of decision makers. Most designers hire for capacity someone to take things off their plate. And that makes sense, and it's probably gonna work really well for the next 2 weeks, except that at some point, you're gonna start freaking out because every decision is still gonna run by you. They're gonna be waiting for the brief. They're gonna wait for you to approve the drawings. They're gonna wait for you to tell them what to do next. So you're not less involved, you're just involved in more things. And this usually happens for 2 reasons. The first reason is that task doers aren't given decision authority. Nobody on the team quite knows what they can decide on by themselves or what needs to run by you first. So they just bring everything to you. So you can fix this by defining decision levels, what your team can solve without you, basically. And this is where SOPs come really handy, because for every position that you hire for, if they have a little guide of what their responsibilities are, what they should be doing without constantly asking you permission for it, then it's going to be much easier. They can always go back to that guide when they don't quite remember. And of course, we still want your team to be able to ask questions and come to you for big decisions. But if they come to you for every small thing, you're not empowering them to grow with your business. You're not empowering them to feel like they're making a difference in the project. So make sure that whoever you hire knows exactly what their responsibilities are. And instead of giving them just to-dos, you give them an outcome and they have to find the way there. Because your job essentially should be reviewing the work, not making every call. The second reason is based on what a client told me recently. She has a project manager, but she's still the one doing all the briefing down to the technical team. And because she's in everything, she feels rushed to do everything. And what she does is that she doesn't even forget. She doesn't get to send the brief to the technical team because she's too busy with a million things that she needs to decide during the day, because her project manager is not making those decisions. And then it means that she comes to us at 2 a.m. sending a brief that she didn't have time to send before. So what I told her is to use her project manager to be that person who takes the project, takes the to-dos for a project, and she's going to be the one communicating with the team, sending the brief, making sure they don't have any questions to move forward. So instead of her having to find time to brief the technical team, either her project manager goes on site with her, so she knows about the project already, she already knows what the to-dos are next, so she can send the brief for the technical team, or she gets the transcript from that meeting, translates it into action steps, and then she can also get AI to write a clear brief for the technical team. And so then she's the one who is going to spend that time making sure that the briefs are sent when they're supposed to be sent, and not 3 days later because the lead designer didn't have time to do it before. And once the work comes back from the technical team, she can just share it with you and then you review the work. You're going to be saving so much time when you only have to check the work. I'm not saying that the project needs to be sent out to the client without you reviewing it, but instead of having to do every step, you stick to your zone of genius. Project manager makes sure that the brief is sent out to the team, the work is done, and then she comes back to you with the project to review only. And remember, that's the difference between you being a studio owner and you being the most expensive person on your team. And if after hearing this, you're like, oh my God, that sounds so simple. Yes, like small tweaks can make a difference. And that is what I help you with one-on-one. I audit my clients' businesses so I understand the way that they work and what's creating friction in their businesses. Sometimes you don't need to change everything, but small tweaks will make the difference. And if that's interesting to you, you're at this stage where you need to be setting up a business in a way that's sustainable for you, then go into the description where I left the link for more details. Reason number 3 is that everything lives in a different place, including your head. Your photos are on your phone, your meeting actions are in your head, client communication is scattered across emails, drawings are somewhere on Google Drive, and your project phases, maybe you're in Asana or Notion. It's like 5 different places. None of them is connected, and that is causing a lot of friction for yourself and for your team. When everything lives in a different place, you don't have a system that's easy to share with your team. It's a system that still lives with you. And even for you, it's a time suck, because without the buffer that we discussed previously, you're still the one who's going to spend 30 minutes looking for a photo that you took 2 weeks ago on site, or even scrolling through emails to find one email that your client sent you a month ago confirming one thing that she's now saying she doesn't want anymore. Your team cannot operate independently inside a system that they don't have access to, and you also cannot step back from the business if you're the only one who knows where everything lives. So you got it. The fix is to have one system only where you have your meeting notes, your site photos, you have the summaries of the decisions made on site, actions, communication, drawings, project phases. Maybe you have 2 places, one for communication and one for the rest, but you shouldn't have a million places, including your head, that other people cannot access with more ease. So you're going to build a master template, a folder template, whatever you're using for your project management, so that every project starts in a way that's identical. You don't need to think about it. You just copy, paste the master template with the same folders, same sections, same phases, same everything. Your team opens any project and they know where to find the things. You have a way to file photos. As I said, I love filing everything per date. So I start with the year, let's say 26. Then it's the month 03, and then the day. And so everything is always going to be organized based on the month and the day. It doesn't have to be the same way for everybody. It needs to be something that works for you. It needs to be a system that's easy for you to commit to, even if at first it might feel a bit weird, if you're not used to using it, but it has to feel sustainable for you in the long term. So don't necessarily look at what other people are doing. Just find a way that works for you and for your team. Okay, and those are the 3 things that you can do today or this month to make your life easier and not keep you the bottleneck in your business, even though you have a team that can help you with your projects. They're small: a buffer, decision lanes, and one system. And none of them require a big overhaul or having to hire a new person. But if you build these 3 habits consistently, things will start to shift pretty fast. Because the number 1 reason you're falling behind is not the volume of work, it's the structure that is missing. And remember, there's a real difference between a designer with extra sets of hands and a studio owner with a team. So if you want to build a business that's a bit more sustainable and it works with your lifestyle, it's now, as soon as possible, you need to make those little changes. And if you're in this right now, the work is coming in, you have people around you to help you, but it still feels like it's all on you. Every decision still needs to run by you. That's the signal. And it's not when you have more time. It's not when things slow down. It's now. Because it's going to only get harder as you grow if you don't have the foundations in place. And as I said, if you want help with those foundations, click the link in the description where you'll have more information, and you can also book a free strategy call with me. I'll see you in the next video.